Jason Statham was born on July 26, 1967 in Shirebrook, Derbyshire, to a hard-working family. His mother, Eileen, was a dancer, and his father, Barry, worked tirelessly as a miner, painter, street seller, and pub singer. The family's life was far from glamorous. Jason grew up in homes that were often cold and filled with quiet worry. He learned early that childhood wasn't a luxury his family could afford. Instead, Jason spent his time selling cheap jewelry and perfume with his father, learning the value of survival over comfort. As a child, he faced harsh conditions, but he developed a resilience and determination that would guide him throughout his life. This grit was something he carried into every challenge, and though his early years were tough, they shaped the man he would become. The road to diversion, sports and determination. By the age of 12, Jason Statham's focus shifted from surviving his environment to mastering his body. His athletic journey began at the Crystal Palace National Sports Centre, where he started training as a diver. Despite being older than most competitors, Statham pushed through the doubts and challenges. He didn't have the 10 years of practice most athletes had when starting, but he was relentless. Jason represented England at the Commonwealth Games in 1990, but the dream of making the British Olympic team slipped away when he missed the spot by just one place. His years of hard work ended in heartbreak, yet he never allowed this rejection to define him. Instead, Jason learned to embrace failure, using it to fuel his determination to succeed in a world that seemed constantly out of reach. A hard-knock life in London. After missing out on his Olympic dream, Jason Statham faced the harsh realities of life in London. With no formal career path, he sold cheap perfumes, watches, and trinkets to get by. His life was a series of cold nights, cramped apartments, and fleeting stability. Yet, Jason never compromised his dignity. Though the work wasn't glamorous, he refused to steal to survive. This period of hustling through London's wet streets wasn't easy, but it kept him alive. At night, while others rested, Jason trained in the dark, shadowboxing, doing push-ups, and constantly battling the ghosts of his unfulfilled dreams. He knew that dignity wasn't what you had, but what you refused to lose, and this mindset became the foundation of his later success. A new path, modelling and acting breakthrough. In the early 90s, while still selling his wares on the streets of London, Jason's raw and real presence caught the attention of sports promotions and modelling agencies. He began working as a model for brands like Tommy Hilfiger and Levis, but he didn't forget where he came from. Despite the allure of success, he continued living a life rooted in survival. Then came a turning point when Guy Ritchie, the director of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, 1998, saw Jason's potential. He didn't see an actor, he saw a man with truth in his eyes, a man who had lived the gritty life he was about to portray on screen. Jason didn't have to audition, his life experience spoke for itself. His role in Lock, Stock paid off and skyrocketed him into the world of film, but it was the authenticity he brought that truly set him apart. The rise of Jason Statham in Hollywood. Jason Statham's career took a major leap forward after his breakout role in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. In 2000, he starred in Snatch, alongside Brad Pitt, a film that grossed over $80 million worldwide. Jason was suddenly a household name, recognized for his sharp delivery and raw energy. In 2002, he landed the iconic role of Frank Martin in The Transporter, an action-packed franchise that cemented his status as Hollywood's new action hero. Jason trained rigorously for his role, mastering Wing Chun, Krav Maga, and kickboxing. His commitment to realism meant he refused to use a stunt double, enduring the bruises and injuries that came with it. His performance was authentic and relentless, and it wasn't long before he became a staple in action films, starring in Crank and later joining the Expendables and Fast and Furious franchises. Family and Legacy: The Quiet Life in London. In 2016, Jason and Rosie became engaged, and in 2017 they welcomed their son, Jack. Jason, once a global action hero, was now a devoted father, finding more joy in quiet mornings with his family than in the roar of engines or the crash of glass. Despite his fame and fortune, Jason's life is defined by simplicity. He lives mostly in London, where his mornings are filled with the sounds of pancakes sizzling in the kitchen and the laughter of his children. With his $13 million Beverly Hills mansion and Malibu beach house, Jason's wealth has afforded him comfort, but he values peace more than luxury. He no longer seeks attention or validation from the media. Instead, he focuses on protecting the meaning in his life, his family, his privacy, and his peace. The price of fame, risks, and reflection. While Jason Statham achieved everything many could only dream of, fame and success came with a heavy price. Over the years, he endured physical tolls from his demanding roles in films. By his 40s, his body was a battlefield, with his joints and spine bearing the weight of countless stunts. One incident that shook him to his core occurred while filming The Expendables 2 in 2011. A stuntman named Kun Liu died in a tragic explosion, and Jason, who had always pushed himself to the limit, was forced to confront the reality of his profession. The incident made him realize that even the most thrilling scenes carried a deep cost. From then on, Jason referred to his stunts as risks paid in blood. His reflections on the cost of his career became a constant reminder of the fragility of life. The loss of Paul Walker and the end of an era. In 2013, while working on Fast and Furious 7, Jason Statham experienced another heartbreaking loss: the death of his co-star Paul Walker. Paul, known for his warmth and generosity, was killed in a tragic car accident, and Jason, devastated by the loss, found himself questioning the nature of his career. "You don't move on from a man like Paul," he said, speaking about the deep impact Paul's death had on him. The tragedy marked a turning point in Jason's life, reminding him that even the strongest bonds in Hollywood could be broken by fate. For Jason, the loss of Paul Walker became a defining moment, one that left a permanent scar on his heart. A life of quiet reflection. As Jason Statham nears his 60s, he no longer seeks the fame or the fame-driven life that defined his earlier years. With 2 children and a life in London, Jason has learned that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the strength to face it head-on. His wealth and fame have provided comfort, but his true joy comes from his family. Each day he finds peace in the simplicity of life, whether it's in the quiet mornings with Rosie and their children, or in the private moments of reflection. The fight may not be over, but Jason has won the most important battle: to protect what matters most.
Living authentically. The final chapter, Jason Statham's life story, is a compelling one, defined by his ability to overcome hardships and keep moving forward. From his humble beginnings to becoming one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars, his journey speaks to the power of resilience, integrity, and the importance of living authentically. While the world remembers him for his action-packed roles and on-screen toughness, the real Jason is a man who has faced personal loss, near-death experiences, and physical exhaustion. Yet through it all, he remains unshaken, focused on the quiet joys of family, health, and peace. Jason's legacy is a powerful reminder that true strength lies not just in overcoming external obstacles, but in the quiet, everyday choices we make to continue moving forward.